I walked into the doctor's office to when I left.
Oh my god.
Well, we are live now.
Hey,
Maybe
everyone
like
stop talking
if
about
you
my
get
balls.
the boys together, you can just call it the nuts of greenest, and then they could have their own little section where they eat like peanuts and cashews and stuff.
I like how they put like in the
All right.
first
We can hear you.
We-
You're on the internet.
She's
You
now
probably
famous.
can't hear us.
I muted him.
I know.
There he is.
Way is-
So, hello
Oh.
everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are the NAT30s, and we are continuing with our Bums of Greenest campaign. Sorry in advance for audio syncing issues. This is Streamlabs and Skype not communicating with each other, so might be a little bit off, might be perfect. I never know. I'm gonna go through our announcements. Thank you, Cheese Ninja 222. We see you, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for following. Hey, Ian. And we have several others out there, I think. Hey, Irish Dad. Nice to see you.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. So my announcements, thank you to our sponsor, the Armory War Games and Hobbies. And of course, at this moment is when I put down our thingy-mabob here. So we are doing Words of the Week now with the Armory and a couple of other stores, actually, tabletop games in Westport, but for the Armory. We are going to try to determine what our word of the week. I muted you, Auric Fire Song, but you can unmute yourself whenever you want. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Can you? Is it
So
better?
Cheese Ninja, I will definitely do a recap, so that you can catch up on our stream here. And if you wanted to, we also have a VOD from last Saturday, which might have gotten a little bit inappropriate because we were hydrating, but that can also catch you up.
Even if we weren't.
Oh well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
So, anyway, word of the week, we're going to determine what that word is. We're going to see if it happens organically, or maybe we come up with something. And if you are a local to South Coast, Massachusetts, you can head over to the Armory or Tabletop Games in Westport, Mass. They are part of the Compound Network, our partner network group. And you can enter to win in-store prizes. So just for following and listening for the word of the week, you can win some in-store gear, whether it's dice or
Did you
minis
give
or
instructions of what they have to do with the word of the week.
yeah. So you listen, you go to the store, and then at the front of the store there is a jar, and you put in your name, contact information, and the word of the week. And on Mondays, typically, our partners will be drawing a name, and you win a gift card or some other in-store prize at the Armory and Tabletop Games.
Wear a mask when you go in there, goddammit.
Wear a mask. It's the law in Massachusetts. So the other sponsor that we have, Foundry Virtual Tabletop, beautiful virtual tabletop that we use here. I did upgrade to beta, so a bunch of my modules are not working, but once a stable release comes out, I'm sure it will all be perfect again. But it is wonderful as is anyway, and we will be using it tonight. And then of course the Compound Network. If you hang out and go to the Compound Twitch channel, we have the Brush Republic, who's done a beautiful job painting our minis, which hopefully we will get to use in person one day. But also we'll showcase them. Fusion Forge, who is we're working with them on a little project, and Moral 3D Prints, who sometimes is in chat, which is awesome, and Counterclockwise, which is a YouTube channel you can go check out, and then of course Tabletop Games. So, am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so.
Alright.
Yes, you're forgetting that we're in a load of shit.
Oh yes, the
Oh,
bums
we're
are in a
down-
load of
we're-
shit.
We're down in Abaddon.
And we're down in Abaddon. You can't
Oh,
see her,
she's
but
not
I have a
coming
little... Yeah, I don't think so, but I did text her and let her know that if she wants to do anything special, she can send me a text. We'll see if I get it in time.
To enclose the space or fireball.
Yeah. So we're gonna run our little intro, and then yes, you did get the ability to upgrade your spells if you got the short right. If you can, whatever your level stuff was, yeah, you can change that. And then I think you can just press the import button, and that should do it. Because I think I had it set up the right way. Okay, so recap for our new people, and to catch you guys up because it's been a week since you played. So we are rejoining the Bums of Greenest as you all are in a load of shit. So you made your way from Greenest to Elturel to Baldur's Gate to Waterdeep to the Carnath Roadhouse just outside of the Mere of Dead Men, and then into the Mere of Dead Men, all following loot that is being transported by the Cult of the Dragon, as requested by Zan's new employers, the Harpers, and their friends, the Order of the Gauntlet. Along the way, Abaddon made an agreement with Lenathon, the Blue Dragon, to help gather eggs. You guys did get one of the eggs already and bring it to her. However, more recently, it appears that she was disappointed by not getting additional ones, and so a punishment was levied against Abaddon by way of removing a gift that she had been given by Lenathon. You all made your way through the Mere of Dead Men, through Castle Naratar, and then finally through a portal which transported you to the Grey Peak Mountains.
You're totally making this recap like as if we did not totally fuck up the whole situation in that castle.
Well, Vidania's necklace ate a bird, and shit got started, and you guys kind of started an internal conflict, but that was fine. That was what you should be doing.
I'm taking a lot of heat for that, but if Zan didn't run off, maniac,
it was Zan's fault
and
from
hide
the beginning.
under a bed, my necklace never would have eaten anything. Okay.
It's true. So you made your way through a portal and found yourselves in the middle of nowhere, retconning it a little bit due to a pretty good roll, a NAT20 roll by Micaiah a little bit earlier today. She was able to, Micaiah looking up into the sky and assessing the stars after you guys found yourselves transported from a marsh to a snowy wood in the middle of some mountains. Micaiah was able to determine that you were in fact at the Grey Peak Mountains. several hundred miles to the east of the Mere of Dead Men, and you are on the eastern side of those mountains. However, because Micaiah has never been there before, that's the best that she could give you, being aware of where the Great Peaks are, but never actually traveling there prior to this experience. You ran into Lenithon, as I mentioned. She was upset with Abaddon's inability to complete the task that she had given to her, and but she was nice enough to warn you of an impending troll attack, which you guys were able to succeed and make it to a hunting lodge that was only a few hundred feet away, less than 200 feet away. And within that lodge, you discovered that it was swarming with kobolds and cultists, who you at first determined it would be best to infiltrate, as you've been trying to do. Had a conversation, heard that there are people in the basement who are possibly being tortured, and unfortunately, your halfling friend Issa rolled a nat 1 on her +9 deception check ability, and after coming back from the bathroom, just a cascade of bad rolls, I guess, determined that the cultists in your midst did not believe you anymore. So we rejoin you in the kitchen of the lodge that you had infiltrated. The cultists, Zora, the older human, so all the cultists are human, the older human woman, Atala, the younger human woman, Dorn, the older human male, and Ty, the younger guy, all have left. Dorn out the back door, and the other 3 up the stairs from the kitchen. And then you blocked the back door, while Zan and Issa headed down into the basement, and everyone else gathered up there, set their positions here. So we are actually going to rejoin Zan to begin with. And Zan, if you wouldn't mind going to lodge upper floor map, just to give yourself an idea of where you're at. Everyone else, you can go to, if you can see it. Hold on, let me make sure you can't see it. Hold on. There you go, there you go. For the lower floor. Okay. So Zan.
I'm on like that map screen thing.
Yep, at the top you should be able to see the different maps that you can go to. You can click where you need to go. So
okay.
Zan, as you quickly...
Am I supposed to be on the ground floor or upper floor?
The upper floor.
Okay.
So as you quickly descend into the basement, Issa right behind you, you immediately are made aware of the familiar scent that you know so well of torture and neglect. It just kind of like hangs in the air as you head down those stairs. And you hear Issa talking quietly, and she's like, "Sorry, Zan. I don't know what happened. I just like couldn't get through. There's so many kobolds up there, and I tried looking out the window." And she kind of catches herself in that moment, looking over your shoulder as you descend down these stairs, and she goes, "Oh shit!" And then she looks and stops in her tracks on the stairwell there. And you can see that the cellar here is damp and smells a little bit also like apples and vinegar. And there are bags of apples and sacks of potatoes that line one of the walls, and then there are 3 prisoners that are chained along another wall. A dwarf with a chopped and singed beard, and 2 humans, a man and a woman. The woman you can see is wounded, and you can see that their chains are secured to iron rings that are keeping them just out of reach of the food. They look clearly malnourished, and as you are looking at them, again, the woman you can see is like whipped and beaten, and so is the dwarf, while the male is not. The man is not.
That he's not beaten at all.
He's not that you can see from where you're at.
I'm gonna move a little closer, get a better view.
Okay. So Issa's gonna follow behind you. So as you head down.
Game says it's paused.
Okay. It's fine. I don't have anything in there anyway. It's more for visuals. So as you head down, you see the woman looks over at you, her head up. She's got like her long hair is like all straggly and kind of like caked with a little bit of blood that's like coming down from her face. And so she looks at you and she's like, please, get us out of here.
What do they have you here for? What happened? How did you get here?
So she looks over at the one human guy who's near her. She looks back at you, and as you get closer, you can see that the human guy he's dressed in he's kind of young, but he is dressed in kind of like ceremonial robes that are like the plain type. He's clearly a priest of some kind, the one who has not been beaten or touched or anything. And the woman looks at you and she's like, I'm from Baldur's Gate. I came through, I was coming to Parnast on a caravan, and I happened upon some of the whatever it is that they're doing here, and they captured me. If you could just let me go. And she's like holding up her chains. And the priest looks at you, his eyes are wide, and the dwarf, he doesn't say much, but he's kind of looking at you a little bit suspiciously.
Good man.
And you see Issa steps right behind you, Zan, and she's like, this isn't the time. This isn't the time for this.
How often do they come down here and check on you?
The priest speaks up at this point, and he kind of shifts a little bit within his robes, and you can hear like the jangling of the chains, and he says, they come down fairly often. There's no rhyme or reason to it. He looks at the woman and she's just nodding. She's like, they just come down, please. I can fight my way out if I just have my hands free. And like, again, Issa is behind you and she's like, Zan, this is not the time. This is not the time. We are not in a good position. They'll just be slaughtered down here.
I'm sorry, but she's right. We can't release you now. It'll be all in vain.
And the dwarf looks over, he kind of like spits down on the ground, and he's like, it's a trap. And he looks at the woman. He's like, this is a trap. Don't trust them.
Zan is gonna walk over to the apples and hand them each an apple.
So when you do that, they grab it, like all 3 of them, even though the dwarf just gave that look like he doesn't trust, he grabs it and eats it immediately. Like these people, it's hard to know when the last time that they ate. And you see some tears like coming from the woman's eyes as she looks at you while she's like eating. But Issa is just standing there. She's like, we can't do it right now. It's just not possible.
Do you know anything of what's going on here?
Who are you talking to? Are you addressing anyone in particular?
Right now, just the woman in general, but to all of them, not so much directly speaking.
So as she's eating, she's kind of like, she's taking big bites and almost like choking on it as she's eating. You can notice that she has bruises and cuts that are all along her neck and shoulders. And she just is shaking her head and she's like, I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, they don't want others to see.
We will come back to release you. If there's anything you know that can help us get back here quicker, now is the time.
And the woman, she kind of like scoots forward a little bit further and she's like, please, just let me out. Just let me out. Just let me free and I can get out.
There's too many of them. There's not enough of us to take a direct assault. It'll be in vain. Please let us do our work.
And the priest looks at her and he says, we will see the sun again. Just calm down and we'll just have to have faith that this nice person here will come back and save us and let us free. And Issa from behind is like, yeah, we'll be back.
I'd like to just take a look around the room before we leave, if there's anything else in the room.
So in the room here, it is, as you start like searching through stuff, it's a pretty plain cellar that the only things that you find as you go through the crates, Issa stands at the stairs and is kind of like listening up the stairs for what might be going on. The only thing you find are barrels full of apples and potatoes as you smell, and then, you know, besides the smell of people who have been down here for a while being tortured. That's pretty much it. Empty jars of that appear to have been used for maybe canning or whatever.
Then we'll escort Issa back up the stairs.
All right.
There's roll the one.
Huh?
Roll the one is in the chat.
Oh, roll the one.
We've been punless for too long.
I realize that I don't have my GIF up. I only have the random swagger dice. Hold on one second. Here, we'll try this one. Sorry, 1 second. Just making... Nope, that's not working. So we're gonna switch to the foundry. Alright, so, alright, we'll switch over. Anything else that Zan was doing?
Nope, he's just gonna go back up.
Okay, so we're gonna switch over to the rest of the bums and what's going on with you all while that conversation is happening. So what are you all doing?
Alaric's gonna sit back down, and he's just gonna keep eating, cause he's a fatty McFatterson.
All right, Abaddon. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Fires of Atheline.
See you later.
See you.
Good morning.
So Arik goes and just sits down. Abaddon is hiding underneath the table. She like reaches up and grabs one of the butcher knives off the table and is just kind of sitting there. What are you doing, Vidania?
I'm not gonna pass
I'm
it after. Sorry, Vidania.
I'm just sitting there at the table, but I still have my hand on my sword, just prepared.
Okay.
Just in case. Looking cool, looking casual.
All right, Micaiah.
Just kicking her legs up on the table.
I'm gonna try to, like, since Abaddon went underneath the table, I'm gonna try to, like, sit like, kind of obscuring her from view.
Okay.
Well, they'd be coming from over there.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna ask which door from that door.
The staircase.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So.
Or one of the doors behind us, but someone is definitely coming from the staircase.
To just give a little quick recap, they did head up the stairs here. Dorn went out the back door up there, which is now blocked.
Was it blocked or locked? I thought we locked it.
Yeah.
Oh, you locked it. Okay, sorry. It was locked with one of the beams. And it's bolted, basically, not locked. There's no, like, actual lock on it. And then you guys had entered from the door down this way.
Yeah, so I would move, like, over this area, but it won't let me move my token.
That's okay. Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have it,
so over in that
locked.
area. Oh, there we go.
All right. Erdnot?
I am still eating, what was it, some venison that was there. But I still have my Eldritch Blast holding that action in the event that they, like, if they come down and are calm and not threatening in any way, that's fine. But if they like start bursting into this room, like, and attack us without
provocation.
But yes, without any sort of talking, I'm as Danny DeVito said, I'm gonna start blasting.
Okay. So you did notice, Arik, before you went to go sit down, that so when you had bolted that door, you know, a minute or two went by, and then someone tried to get in, and then it went quiet. So as you guys are kind of sitting here, you can hear just the faintest bit of conversation happening below as Zan is conversing with somebody downstairs. And after a minute or so you had been hearing the sounds of what you assume to be kobolds, and others like kind of shifting through the halls this whole time, walking through like they had come in and gone down to the basement. As you're sitting there here kind of listening, it goes eerily quiet, except for the voices down in the basement. And another minute or so goes by, and you all are just kind of sitting here casually, eating your food, listening.
I don't like how you're saying that.
Yeah, that's why I'm ready to kill motherfuckers.
It gets very quiet. A minute, another 60 seconds or so goes by. Abaddon, at that point, she kind of like looks up and starts to feel a little bit stupid, just under the table with nothing going on. So she gets out and just kind of sits down next to you, Arik, and you, Micaiah. Takes some food, eats it quietly. And at that moment, Zan and Issa reemerge from down below. Hold on a second. Little glitches.
Which side do you just I wanted it to be on this side of the table. I don't know if you just have us in the center of the table just because. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
If it matters or not, I just wanted to be facing the direction
the door.
Of the stairs right here. These rooms. That's all.
Okay. So Zan and Issa emerge from the basement at this moment. And Zan, as you are coming up the stairs, you guys hear some shifting from the top of these stairs. And you hear the familiar voice of Zora, who calls down from the top of the steps, or you can't see her, so you can only imagine it's the top of the steps. And you hear her, she goes, "Hello, I'm coming down. Be still, please." And
what was that? I didn't hear it. There was like a skip.
She said, "Be still, please. I'm coming down."
See, this is the lady I didn't want to kill. She's so nice.
So.
But she's a brainwash cult member.
So slowly you hear kind of the creaking of these wooden stairs as she makes her way down. And she kind of like peeks her head around to see you all really quickly, and then shifts back up so you can't quite see her. You can just see her feet. And you hear her whisper to somebody, and then she continues down, and as she comes down around the corner, she has a like a cast iron pot in her hands, and she just kind of steps at the bottom.
Don't laugh. I've seen Rapunzel. I know what those things can do.
I know, it was just like
Shit's heavy.
And then stepping down behind her, you see Atala and Tai, who both are wielding short swords in their hands, but not with like the handling of somebody who knows what they're doing with it. They just kind of step behind her. So the three are, one is on the stairs. Tai is still like kind of half on the stairs looking at you all, the bottom stairs, with Atala behind Zora, and Zora standing there with this cast iron pot, which, yeah, if she hit you with it, you would like probably break your face. So Zora looks at all of you and she's like, "So, Talus would like to see you in her chambers. You are surrounded by kobolds and trolls and drakes and more, all of which answer to her. So I would suggest that you come along without any fuss." And
Isn't
she
that
looks.
what we were expecting to do? Aren't we all friends here? What accent am I doing?
I'm
Those
Yeah,
are
it's
great
not.
things.
Like, I don't know what that is.
So just me.
I think
Other
that
side.
Balky Bartokam is from Perfect Strangers.
Right, that's what they're all doing, yes?
She's got like Boras.
Just more high pitch. I mean, that's a good thing. I watched
Yes
the
or
new
no?
Pro Rat trailer.
We are all friends.
So you also hear from behind Issa through the doorway here, you hear Dorn's voice. He doesn't open the door, but you hear him say, "I recommend you do it as she says."
Arik, for one, will smile. I'm gonna smile right at the lady with the frying pan, just because it's the goddamn cutest thing I've ever heard. And he's just gonna put his hands up. He says, "You've got nothing to fear from us. Nothing to fear from us." And he's just gonna do as he's told. And is her name? Did you say Talus or Tal? What was the name?
Talus, Talis.
I feel like an idiot. I was spelling it. I thought you said Talos. In the chat, I was spelling Talos. What a dummy.
So can we see her with the frying pan? Or can we
Yeah,
just
she's
only see
standing.
her feet? Oh, okay. I
No,
thought you
no,
said
she's
we saw her.
standing. No, you can see. At first, she only came down a little bit, and you could see her feet, but then she came down the rest of the way with
Oh,
Atala
all right.
standing behind. So she's standing like right in front of you.
And what's
she's
her name again?
Her name is Zora.
Oh, Zora, darling, what you doing with that frying pan? You about to make me some grits, something like my mama used to do? Because I know you ain't gonna do nothing else with that. Girl, put that down.
And Zora looks at you, Micaiah, and she's like, I don't want to have to do anything with it, so I recommend that you all follow me quietly, and we will bring you to Talus, and you can speak with her directly.
Micaiah's just gonna like look at her and just like give her a wink and like reach over and just like put the frying pan, lower it down. Just be like, "It's all right, darling. We ain't gonna bite."
So when you reach out to do that, Atala steps forward, and she's got the sword in her hand, and she's like, "Don't touch her. We're gonna go out the south door, and you'll just follow Dorn down the hall. As she said, there are many kobolds here, and trolls outside. And they won't hesitate if you do not listen." And Ty stands behind her, just kind of looking gruff and like a tough guy.
Only they knew all the trolls and kobolds we've cut through already.
So where are they standing exactly? Just at the end of the stairs?
Yeah, they're all kind of clustered here in the stairwell.
And they're looking to go. Did you say they're looking to go through this bottom door where Issa is?
Yes. So Dorn, in that moment, so Issa actually, at that moment, she kind of is like, okay, and she's like, I'm down here. I know it's hard to see me, but we don't mean you any harm. I'm just gonna open this door, and we're going to do exactly as you say, right, everybody? She's looking at all of you.
Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying.
This has all been one big misunderstanding.
They're not still eating his venison.
We can clear it up with Talus.
Alright, well, Aracle moves so that those people. Oh shit. He'll move so they can all get by and do what they want to do.
Okay. So they actually kind of like shuffle you guys along, and Dorn, at this point, he opens the door behind Issa, and
the hell are those?
Huh?
Are those kobolds?
Yeah, those are kobolds. So I'm just gonna stack you guys
stickers.
all, and then move you down the hall, and so that you can see what you see here.
Oh, look at him! They're so cute.
It's so cute. I want to hit him with a cast iron pan.
So they are from 2 Minute Tabletop, actually. So
Are they? Because the one kobold we saw was like I think a couple we saw were like butler kobolds. Like, are these ones actually geared up for battle, or are they like also butlers?
No, so as you come out into the hallway, you start to see, and I only dappled this area, there are a lot of kobolds. They're standing in doorways. They're wearing clothing which is not typical of the kobolds that you have come across. Like, it doesn't look, it's ill-fitting clothing, and it's mostly kind of like aprons and like shirts, sort of. But each of them, as you walk through, and they're all like different
give them
colors.
a sock? Are they set free?
Dobby.
So you, as you're walking through, I mean, you can make an insight check
What? I'm giving them a sock?
to see how they look. Like, do they look like they're there willingly
Anybody
or
hear me?
not? Yeah.
Yep.
Hey,
Now.
what's up? You're here.
All right,
Oh, lost you?
insight.
Yeah, you're frozen.
My
Well,
laptop
I don't know
is
shit.
frozen.
The rolls
I-
begin.
I can't write.
I'm completely frozen in Foundry. I think that's what's freezing. Skype just came back for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
my foundry's frozen.
At least your picture froze with a smile.
So as you move through and looking at the kobolds, they're all just kind of standing there at the ready. Each of them has some kind of weapon, whether it's like a hatchet, a couple of daggers, short swords. They are all ready to go. Standing there, lining the hallways as you go through. You do see a couple of these doors that you have not been able to go into that are closed. You head into the main hall again, where there was the statue that shocked you, and a couple of other statues on lining the stairwell here. They lead you with Dorn standing in front and the other three behind. And the kobolds, as you're walking through, they don't look particularly...
And there was much rejoicing.
Thank you, Macarena Taco, for following.
Is it Macarena Taco?
Oh, maybe it was. I was trying to read it too fast. Macarena Taco, there you go.
What is it with these? That's our second taco. Subscribe.
That is our second taco.
Hey, tacos are fantastic.
So
it is Tuesday.
That's true.
Oh, real quick, do these represent like the accurate count of kobolds, or is each one like represent like more than one kobold?
At the moment, this is an accurate count of the kobolds that are here.
Okay.
On this floor, and as you head out into the main hall and you look up, you can see several more up on the top balcony banister area. And let me just get the other floor all set here, if it wants to. Here we go. So I'm going to drag you over, Zan, so that you can see.
Do we have to click that manually, or?
I'll activate it in a second. I'm just throwing your tokens down.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Let's see. Here we go.
Macarena Tacos saw the link from the Foundry Field of Streams.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks. Alright, I'm just going to throw your tokens down. So I've already got Zan there. So we've got Ark. I'll put Abaddon, even though you can't see her. We've got Kaya.
Now all I can hear in my head is... Oh, Jesus. I wonder if
I listened to that the other day. It was on like this throwback Spotify channel I had going.
Damn.
So, yes. So you guys head up the stairs, being brought up again. The kobolds, they're not like attacking you or anything. They're just standing there at the ready, kind of looking at each other, looking at you as you come up around. As you're being led up these stairs and around, you can see like this is a pretty decently kept lodge. There is even still paintings and stuff on the walls, and it's just being kept very, very nicely. They bring you down the hall. You can look and see in the doorways there are additional kobolds just standing, and they're looking as you're being brought down. Did you want to say anything as you're going, or do anything in particular?
I don't know what everybody else sees. Mine's just kind of black with some fuzzy gray squares and stuff like that. Like it's not.
Oh, you might need to press escape and reload. If it doesn't work, just refresh your Foundry.
Oh.
Yeah, Macarena Taco, I upgraded to the beta, so there's a little bugs here and there that we're working through. I think the stable release comes up. I don't know. That's going to be a hardware, probably like a... Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
I think it's just too much for my laptop with the running Foundry and Skype off the laptop. I think it's hitting the limit, but Foundry's working again. I just, for some reason, my picture is still frozen. I'm afraid to reboot anything to kick me off.
I was going to say you could leave the Skype call and then go back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't I try that?
Okay.
I can't tell if he's gone. Okay, there we go.
You back?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. All right, so you are heading down this hallway here. Again, there are doorways opening, closing. So as you head down with them leading you, once you get down to this bottom doorway, just as you are about to enter, Dorn kind of steps aside, and then you see the door opens, and an older olive-skinned man with like graying hair and a goatee, who's dressed pretty decently, a little bit higher than like a common folk. He opens the door and is like, oh, looks at all of you, kind of does like a look up and down everybody, and then he steps out of the way, and just kind of like gestures for you to enter the room here.
I was hoping that was Talos, because I'm like, we could totally take. Everybody here is old and
Okay.
cobalt.
You said that he was dressed. How exactly was he dressed? Like, as we walk up by, if I look, is he dressed like Is he armed? Is he like a bodyguard type? Is he like
No,
a
so
soldier?
looking at him, he appears to be kind of like a butler type.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm just gonna be keeping my eye out for any kind of person who actually looks like they know what they're doing combat-wise.
Okay. So it doesn't take long. So Issa like looks at Dorn standing on the other side of the doorway there, and she says, "So just in here?" And he just like kind of gives her a look like, you know, why are you asking? Stupid question. And she's like, all right, and she looks up at you guys, and then she leads the way into the room. So you enter what looks to be this like very well appointed chamber. It's filled with furniture, and it looks like almost like a boardroom. Like it's a place where you can eat food or like discuss important matters. And there are 3 men in the room that are wearing scale mail and carrying swords. They're standing up on the other side of this table as you look, and you can see a woman who's wearing robes over white scale mail, and she's holding a wand set with a blue gemstone. I'll give a little, this is what you see.
Fucking wizards.
Pointed ears, just standing there, or sitting there at the table, just very casually, with the 3 bodyguards kind of standing behind her. And she looks at each of you, and she goes, "Welcome. I consider you my guests. Perhaps we can do business." And she just kind of gestures for you to come in. She's like, "Come."
Arik will take a seat.
Are we being gestured into the room, or is she implying that we come sit?
I assume that's what she meant by sit, right?
No, she didn't say to sit, but she just said come in.
Okay. Okay, so then I'll just
It's
walk
up to you, whatever you're gonna do. If you're gonna
I
sit.
thought you... Sorry, I'm trying to put honey
He
in my tea.
strolls in, sits down, puts his muddy snow boots on the table.
No, I thought that you said that she, thought you meant that she gestured towards the chairs. Like,
She
as
kind
if
of
to be
gestured
like,
to come in. Whatever you're gonna do.
Are they standing or sitting?
She is sitting, they are standing behind her.
She has 3 guards here.
She has 3 guards. And so you see standing behind her, they're the 3 individuals. They're dressed in familiar attire from what you've seen, of somebody who is at least typically a 2nd level person in the cult. And they're standing there quietly, just surveying you as you come in. So what are you doing?
Really wishing Zan was here.
It's funny, he's the one who does the most talking, but he has the worst stats for it. Yeah.
You just walk into the room.
Yeah, just walk right into the room.
Okay. Issa walks in and she just kind of sits down, like at the other end of the table there, just very casually. Just sits down. And, sorry, you see, the woman, Talus, or the elven woman. Hey there.
Hey, Zan's back.
So you've entered the room. She gestures for you to come in. Issa comes in. She sits down right across from the woman. There's the woman in three second level at least individuals from the cult standing behind her, kind of guarding her. And she looks at all of you and she's like, interesting. Well, welcome to my home. As I said, you are my guests. After all, it is dangerous to traverse in the black void of night. And at that, you see Issa, she kind of like perks up a little bit and she looks at her and she says, without the light from the stars to guide you. And you see Talus, she's like looking over at someone else and then she looks at Issa and she says, indeed. Well, I think perhaps we should discuss why you are here and what you are looking for, but with some privacy, maybe. And she looks back at the three cultists who are standing behind her. And she says, Maelgot, Sovik, you can leave. Go make sure that the others are okay. And Kustia, stand outside the door. Make sure no one comes in. And they all just nod. You can see them, they all kind of look at you. You can barely see their faces because they're actually wearing these like ornate black dragon masks. With little like white gemstones inlaid in them. Pretty much all of the cultists wear the black outfit. And they just nod and look at you and then head out the door and close the door behind them. And then
would we have noticed that little interchange between the two?
Roll an insight check.
Got some 12.
7. It's not.
So Arik, you don't.
Too busy checking her out.
Do you want us all to roll insight checks?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
We can use real dice, correct?
Yep, you can use real dice. Just let me know.
Yay, I'm using real dice.
It's a 17 for Xander.
Yeah, Erdnot's not sitting. She's sitting like across from her, right?
17 from Makai.
Okay. Vidania got a 23. Yeah, so Issa is sitting across from Talus. Talus is now sitting on the other end of the table. Not at a head of the table, but like in the middle there.
Erdnot will just kind of be like standing behind into the side of Issa.
So Erdnot, Vidania, Micaiah, and Zan, you all did notice the exchange. Let's see. Abaddon did not.
Did it seem like it was like a test to see if she could finish the sentence, or did it seem like
What
like
did you roll?
something
17?
else? Yeah.
So you get the impression that it was not a test, more like two people
Like a
who
call
are
word type
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Call and response.
So after the door clicks behind Kusvia, Palace looks at the door for a moment, and then she looks back at Issa, and then she looks at everyone else, and she doesn't say anything to start, and then Issa like leans forward slightly, and she's like, "How long have you been in?" They're not. Well, this one over here is a plucker, and she does this, looking at Zan. She kind of gestures towards me. She's like, "But the rest of them." And Talus looks over at you, Zan. As Issa says, "He's a good egg, though. He means well. But we're all on the same side here." And Talus looks back at Issa.
They just go, like, kind of almost like, plucker. like that's what Arik is just gonna think every time he hears Zan's name now. That's what's gonna. Plucker. Fuck.
So. Sorry. So Issa.
I didn't mean to cut in on you. Sorry about that.
No. You guys, please do. Oops, I moved the thing. So Talus looks at each of you, and then she looks at Issa, and she says, "I have been with them for." Ooh, I'm gonna close this door. Now the door is closed. She said,
Forced to close it.
She's like, I have been here for 2 years. Interesting that they sent another. And Issa says, "Well, they didn't tell me you were here." So what's going on here?
So, this cult is apparently very easy to infiltrate, except for us.
Talus looks over at you and she says, "As I said, I've been doing this for 2 years. It was not easy. In fact, getting to this level, it was quite a challenge."
Well,
I have no idea what accent I'm doing, by the way. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. So.
I like it.
When you
fatal
said-
challenge at the castle.
when you said their names and like the way, like the accent you use with it, I was like, oh, that fits perfect with the character.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
It sounds Russian.
Oh, I don't know.
It
You're
sounds
like,
hot.
we're going.
Bring over moose and squirrel.
Yes, like some kind of Romanian.
My name is Talus. How are you?
That's like Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
My name is Sam.
Romanian Christopher.
My name is Christopher Walken.
This strange reasoning in my sentence structure.
We're in this lodge for no reason. Whoa.
I spent 2 years with this thing shoved up my ass.
Yes.
Hey, Raging Roll. Thank you for stopping in.
Did you come in at the part where I was talking about something shoved up my ass?
Probably.
Not shoves things up his ass occasionally. It's what he does. I don't know why. It's very strange.
So you've been here in the cult for 2 years. What have you uncovered? What are they doing here?
So Talus leans back slightly and she takes her wand off of the table and starts just kind of running her fingers along the gem on it. And she says, well, they are attempting to raise Tiamat. It's gone. The accent's gone. Very interesting. They have been at it for quite some time.
I mean,
So,
we already knew that. Isn't that why we've been sent?
Through what means? Is there a ritual or something a goal that they're working towards? All we've seen is they're collecting treasure and moving it from place to place. Is there a final destination, a reason behind it?
yes, of course.
How do we stop this?
So you've come this far, but you don't know about the masks.
Masks?
And Etha looks and she says, no, we were following Loot and missing it every time, every step along the way. So Talus says, well, let me inform you then. There are 5 masks that are being gathered to perform the ritual to raise Tiamat. 1 for each of the 5 chromatic dragons. Red, blue, black, green, and white. Each of these has a leader, a worm speaker. Each of whom has an affinity for a particular type of chromatic dragon.
Are these worm speakers dragonborn, like the one whose name I'm farting on right now? What about Resmir?
Resmir, no. So she is one. She is the worm speaker of the black dragon. But Severin is the leader, and he is the red. It is he who was given the vision by Tiamat herself of where these masks are and how to find them, and then the ritual to bring her back from the 9 hells.
Do you know who the other worm speakers are?
I do.
Who is the blue worm speaker?
Galvin, the blue.
Hmm.
There is Neron Vane, the green, and then Varum, the white.
Now, do all these worm speakers get along? I know they all want to raise Tiamat, but are they only banding together for that purpose, or like, is there a way that we could kind of separate them or get them to clash?
Unfortunately, Varum stepped in my way. I was next in line, and she looks really pissed as she's saying it. Like, her fingers like tracing this gem, but she's on her wand, but she looks like really mad. And it's clear on her face, even though you've just met her. She says, I was next in line to become the white worm speaker. But Varen stepped forward, pushed me out of the way. So, I was not able to go to any high-ranking meetings, not high enough to know what their relationships are with one another. But there's always conflict. Chromatic dragons do not get along.
So perhaps could use that as ammo if we know what they disagree on. Division is always a good solution.
Well, our primary purpose here is to find out where all this gold and loot is going. Do we know where that is?
Where?
Yes.
And did Resmir come by this way?
Yes, Resmir came. She told me that there was a chance that she would be followed through the portal. Apparently, there was a bit of a revolt at Castle Neratar. It was only a matter of time. The bullywugs and the lizard folk did not get along. I think Resmir was stupid for forging that alliance with the Black Dragon.
As we stand there, still covered in slime, blood, and guts from bullywugs. So, like, as Erdnot asked, where is the next step from here? This is obviously not the destination.
Yeah, it's a vacation house.
This is quite nice.
Thank you.
Classy.
For an above
I put a
house,
lot of work
above
into
ground
it.
dwelling.
Well, the loot is being brought down to Parnast, which is a town.
We're already there?
No.
Somewhere
Parnast?
that rhymes with that?
Oh, the
Karnath
Karnath
Roadhouse. Yeah.
Karnath and Karnast? Is that...
Parnast.
Oh,
Parnast
Gotcha.
and Karnath Roadhouse, yeah.
Okay.
So she says the Parnast Roadhouse. I mean Parnast. Now you got me saying it. Parnast. That is where the loot is being brought. There is a castle there. Skyreach.
Do you know what they're doing with the loot once they're gathering it there?
Well, the loot is for Tiamat, of course. You have to have enough loot for a queen, a god.
So the loot is just tribute to their god. It's not
The loot-
used in the ritual.
It may be, like I said, I have not had the ability to go to any of the more higher ranking meetings, but the masks are primarily part of the ritual, but the loot, the treasure, all of that. You have to have enough for a queen and a god to bring her forward.
How far is this Parnath from here? Do we need to use another portal? Where exactly is it?
Parnast is probably about an hour's trek down the mountain.
Oh.
If you look out the windows, you can see.
Yeah, they told us that last time. We were
Oh,
just too
did
busy
they?
spending the week thinking about we're gonna have to kill them all.
Yeah. Well, glad we didn't.
Do we even need to go there? We know where the loot is going. He slaps Zan on the shoulder as he with a nice big hearty slap like he always does, not knowing how hard he's actually slapping people, and like, isn't that what your people wanted? Can we go back and tell them now?
The point of knowing where the loot was is so they could gain political allies to stop them. We may
Well,
be...
you did not let me finish. Skyreach Castle is here for now.
What?
What do you mean?
My words exactly.
She looks at all of you and she kind of smirks a little bit. And she says, "It is here for now, but it is not called Skyreach for nothing. Resmir will be moving the castle because the loot that was brought, I believe it was nearing the end from this location. So it is time for her to move on. I don't know when, but soon, especially given that there were issues at the castle.
What kind of issues at the castle?
I think she means ones we caused.
Oh, the castle.
Yes.
The castle we came from.
I thought you meant the other one.
Oh no, sorry. The castle that you came from, yes.
Oh, what we know about those issues.
Indeed.
What do you mean, move the castle?
It flies, boy. Are you dense?
I just.
Issa like,
Makai's just gonna look at Ernie and be like, "You've been around him long enough. Are you seriously asking that question right now?"
Well, Skyreach, what the? You know castles fucking fly? You know what I mean?
In Mario, they do. Why not in D&D?
You guys know more than I do, apparently. I had no idea castles flew in this fucking game. Jesus Christ.
Anything is possible with imagination.
I'm just gonna throw his fucking hands up. We got dragons that make friends and slaves out of our friends. We've got cat. They fly now? They fucking fly now. What the hell?
Honestly, a flying castle is probably the least impressive thing we've seen so far on this journey.
I don't know.
and Talus looks at you as you say that, and she's like, "You haven't seen it fly. Not yet. It is majestic."
You sound a bit like in reverence of it. Are you sure you ain't got like mixed up a little bit in this cult thing? You've been like drinking a little too much of that juice? Or no?
She just kind of does the like slow blink look over at you. And she's like, "I have been in this cult for 2 years infiltrating.
So
I hope you are not challenging my allegiances."
I'm just kidding. We're friends here.
And Issa is like, "They're all new at this, Talus. So, and it's been a long day, as you can clearly tell from looking at us. I think, some sleep would be great, and everyone can get their head in order."
So, what do we tell your friends outside the door?
"I will deal with them. They answer to me. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
But
I
you need
wasn't.
to..." She looks at all of you as when Erdnot says that, and she says, "You all would do best to take this seriously. I get the impression that you've dealt with minions up till now. That is not the case in Skyreach Castle. Resmir came through. She let me know that there was likely to be visitors.
Did she
And then
mention us specifically?
No, she didn't say who, just that things had gone wrong and she could not be sure that the portal was safe or would not be compromised."
So we still potentially have cover.
"I don't know. I don't know how adept you have been on your mission. She did come with a red wizard. Very interesting." She looks at Issa, she looks at her, and she's like, "It is very interesting. It's very troubling, in fact, that the red wizards have allied themselves with this cult." So Talus leans forward a little bit at this point, getting a little bit more comfortable with everybody here. And she says, "So you will need to go through Parnast to get into Skyreach Castle. It is a town. Most of the people there are either cultists or strong-armed into helping." Oh, we lost Vidania.
It's okay, she wasn't gonna move.
She says, "There's a captain there, Othelstan. He leads in Parnast, and he is very loyal to Resmir.
His name was Ulfulstan.
Yes. Othel Stan. But if you are looking for any allies down in the town, you can look for the Wheelwright. I do not know his name, but he's been unhappy with the way that the town has aided the cult up to now. Albeit they never had a choice.
Do you have any ideas of how we can get into this flying castle?
I do, in fact. I can aid you. More specifically, I will, how much do you know of the signals and the signs of the Cult of the Dragon? And Issa kind of scoffs under her breath. She's like...
I was gonna say, Arik looks right over at Erdnot and just does this.
I was gonna say, Makat just looks at Erdnot.
We all turn at once.
We probably all turn at once, I guess.
We have picked up on certain cues, some quicker than others. But
they all do this.
We could definitely use your aid in anything that you know that will help us along.
She looks at Erdnot and she's like, "Oh, so you're a pro?" Yes, they call that the Tiamat salute. Extending the 5 fingers to represent the 5 heads of Tiamat herself.
Oh.
In addition, you will want to know, all hail Tiamat, and they shall rise. Those will get you far in the cult. If you don't know what to say, all hail Tiamat. Or, they shall rise. Those are frequently used as passphrases. It may not work every time, but you will also notice that the cultists will often wear either a 5-colored band or use red, blue, green as coded bits of clothing. There are a few banners that exist out there that have the cult insignia, but most of them are being held in reserve for when the dragons rise to take over. Until then, you can use the passphrases and the salute if you need to get through.
Should we wear any of the colors or robes?
That is up to you. I can give you a 5-striped banner with blue, black, green, red, and white, respectively. It is meant to be flown on a lance or spear as a signal when approaching the Skyreach Castle. I can give that to you.
Yes, we'll take it.
Thank you kindly.
You must know that there is an enormous hoard of loot and gold and treasures and art. Much like the pieces I have around here, kept some. And she points, and you can see quite a few art pieces hanging on the walls. And actually looking around this room, you do see in the back, like, a bookcase full of books, which are expensive and hard to come by, to be honest. Leather bound and whatnot. A giant, like, urn in the back corner. It looks like she held on to quite a few things that interested her here. And she says, and they are being held in the lair of a snow-white, handsome dragon named Glazael, the Cloud Chaser.
How do you spell that?
Glazhael. I wonder if my little mod will work here. I'm gonna try to. Does that work? Should be in chat.
Yeah.
Okay. So you must be careful. And Issa kind of sighs heavily as she's looking here, and she says, "Is there anything else that you can say in the mixed company? If you all don't mind, by the way, I think I will hang back in here for a moment. You did offer," and she looks at Talus. "You did offer for a little bit of rest, as you said." And Talus says, "Yes, of course. We can make sure that you have the room down the hall a bit." And she looks around at each of you and then looks at Issa and says, "Perhaps I should keep some things for our discussion."
Wait, he turns to Zan and Issa. "You went down to that basement floor. What did you find?"
Issa looks at Zan.
The prisoners that you have in the cellar, Talus. What are your plans for them?
She looks at you and then looks at Issa. And Issa makes eye contact with her and she says, "A couple of them looked like they were in a bad way, Talus." And Talus just kind of like leans back in her chair and she looks at you, Zan, and she's like, "What business is it of yours?"
I have an affinity for people in chains.
Kinky.
Strange affinity.
Well, you like everything on sticks, so.
No, he always makes fun of me for having rope. Now I figure out he's in the chains.
We all got our things, you know, chains, ropes, sticks.
Xander will raise his sleeves to show the scars on his wrists from being in shackles.
So a bleeding heart, then.
I know that look in their eye.
The dwarf is related to Varum the White, and I have need of him.
The priest
woman,
and the woman?
She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. As was the priest.
Wait, there's a dwarf downstairs.
There is, and she looks at you, or not. Varum the White is a dwarf.
I don't think I know him. What did he do?
He was the one who took her places
Yeah,
she wanted.
He's the one who got the white mask. Or
Are you this boy?
Can't juggle names.
Yeah.
So,
So he's a cult member.
Oh, yes, he's like a...
yes, he's a worm speaker.
Ah,
Oh.
He's a worm speaker.
worm speaker.
So as she's looking at you, hold on, I gotta look at this character art real quick. So, Resmir stands up and she takes a moment. She looks at you, at all of you, and then she turns around. And as she does so, her cloak lifts just ever so slightly, revealing a purplish almost like leggings that are quite tight, actually, underneath the white chainmail that she's wearing. And you catch just the faintest glimpse of a round buttock, perfectly shaped. And you think how lucky you are to have mostly seen very, very well kept behinds on your journey, only a couple of times being subjected to the derrieres of giants and etins that you maybe had to go delving into. But this one, you would gladly delve into, given the chance.
It's a breath
So
of
she
fresh.
turns around and kind of like stokes the fire in the fireplace behind. And then she looks over at you all over her shoulder slightly. And she says, "Do you mean to ask me to let them go? How would I explain that to my people?"
If we were to leave with them, with the word of slaves at our beck and call for the Sky Reach, they'll leave here as slaves. You're not letting them go.
She turns back, faces away from you. Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, that's not Zan's strong suit.
Doesn't matter. You're gonna roll a 20 anyways. Come on.
Don't
Have
jinx
faith.
the kid.
12.
Now they're gonna remain
Gotta
slaves.
do a deep dive, Grim.
Well kept as well.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear what you rolled.
That is a 12 for Xander.
Okay. She's facing away for a moment, and Issa looks at you, Zan, and she's like, "That was good. That was a good suggestion." And then she's like, "She's not gonna go for it though." And Talus turns back around, like with a whip of her cloak there, and she looks at all of you and she says, "You cannot have the dwarf, but I will let the other two go. It's mostly for show anyway."
How far gone is the dwarf in this cult?
Far enough gone. He
I
is of
am
no concern to you.
I am a holy man of sorts. Perhaps I could make him change his ways.
No,
Yep.
he is
God, I
mine.
tried. I know you're watching.
I appreciate you letting the other two go. Thank you.
I don't do it for you.
I understand.
Blocker. Issa like goes like, all right. So I think maybe you guys should perhaps head to whatever room she's giving us, so I have a moment with my colleague.
Is there a place to wash so we can get all this slime and bullywug juice off of us? Murderized bullywug.
She says, yes, there is a bath, actually. One moment. Got the name of these people, so hold on. She yells out, "Kusvia," and the door opens, and in steps one of the dragon claws. and he steps in, and she says, "These are our guests. Please call over, fucking, what the fuck was his name? There's so many fucking people in this house, guys. Gaston."
I just like the idea of her being.
People in here, guys.
I was gonna say, I love the idea of her being like, "Please bring."
What the fuck was his name?
What is his fucking name again? Oh, that fuckface. Yes, bring him. Tell him.
Bring him in, the butler. Bring him, and call in Zora and Ty and Atala and Dorn, and bring them in here as well. And so he nods and then heads out the door. And Talus looks at each of you and she says, "You are all members of the cult, and you are heading down to Skyreach Castle to rendezvous with Rezmir and the others. I will give you the banner so that you can approach. Gaston will bring you to the bath so that you can all get cleaned up, and you have the night, but you should be on your way as soon as you feel able in the morning."
Can we provision ourselves in this town for what may be to come?
You may be able to, depending on how well you can keep up your ruse. But if they discover you, she may take off much sooner than planned, so work quickly and get onto that castle.
Arik will give her a short bow of respect and walk out following whoever's going to lead him to the room.
So Gaston walks back in. At that moment, the tall, like olive-skinned guy with the goatee, and he looks each of you up and down because you look horrible. He just does it again, and Talus is like, "Gaston, please bring them to the baths and then show them to where they can stay." And he nods to her and then says, "This way, please," and heads down the hall. So when you... the door's closed. Sorry.
He's just whack.
So,
She's
actually,
so
Issa's
smooth and
staying.
cool talking, but just watch her to the door.
So Issa stays behind while the rest of you, she looks at you guys and she's like, "I'll catch up with you later, alright? We've got some talking to do." And Gaston leads you down the... When you step out, you can see that the cultists are stepping up the stairs, the four humans that you talked to, and Kusvia is leading them up. The other two dragon claws are kind of standing to the side, waiting for their chance to go into the room. And Gaston is leading you guys down the hall. And as he does so, he stops at this door, and this little guy is going to be not in this room anymore. The kobolds are still like kind of waiting for any kind of next steps to be taken, but they don't look threatening or anything, and they're looking, and Gaston looks at each of them and is like, "These are the guests. These are guests. They're heading down to the castle. You can disperse." And he looks all like he doesn't even want to be talking to them. And the kobolds just look at him. They give him a little bit of a dirty look, and then they all start going back to their normal stuff. And Gaston points into the room, and he's like, "This is the baths that you can blend yourselves in. And then, sorry, I just gotta refamiliarize myself with this entire thing. Okay. And then he says, "This way, please," and leads you down the hall this way.
Look at all these old
And-
fuckers.
Huh?
Look at all these old fuckers.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. Past these doors, this door he opens and he says, "This is one room that you may stay in," and then leads you down to this hallway. And here's another. You can stay here for the night. And whatever Talus commands, we will do to make your stay comfortable.
Thank you.
And,
That kitchen always open.
He says, "Yes, it is."
Good.
And he nods a little bit to you, and then he heads down the hall. He doesn't look like a happy guy.
Just dour.
Yeah.
Just a dour fella. Well, Ark's gonna throw some of his gear down and go wash up. Don't know why I'm so obsessed with that. It just seems like it's something that he would do.
All right.
I don't think he's taken his armor off once this entire fucking trip.
Do we get to RP in the chat about all of us bathing together?
Well, see, that's the
Sure.
thing is, I was waiting because Ark's been in the military, so he doesn't give a shit. It's like Starship Troopers, where everybody's just naked in the showers. He doesn't care about that. He'll just get naked right in the middle, walk down the hall that way. He doesn't give a shit.
So yes, you can. We'll stop there because it's 10:45. I will continue with the text-based chat, but I also want to give opportunity for real-time roleplay on Saturday because the guys text chat, but the girls do not. So I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to learn.
Don't make it sound like we
learn
excluded
about-
them.
No,
I
no,
know,
no.
it's
I'm just
like-
saying some people have time, which happens to be the guys, and the ladies.
No, we just screw off.
Don't
when we're
have
supposed
time. I was gonna
to be
say,
doing-
I just-
we're supposed to be doing
when we
things.
When we do that, I legitimately take like, it's an hour and a half probably out of my 8-hour day, where like I'm like typing, where like somebody can't see me, like I go in the back room and I'm like typing away, and then I go pretend like I'm doing something, like I watch the screen, and then I like go back for like 10 minutes. Because you're typing these like long paragraphs, you know.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that the RP doesn't just happen in text because not everybody partakes. So
Where can they?
Our DM wants us to RP us all in the bath. That's what I'm hearing.
no.
Who's come?
While we're in the bath in real life.
I was gonna say, yes. We should do that
RP
while we're in the
virtually
hot
while
tub.
we're in the bath in real life.
And which
About
one of
our
us has a
virtual
hot
bath.
tub?
The hot tub.
I have a jacuzzi tub. We could all jump in.
Yes.
Ark's gonna do a
I don't
cannonball.
know, or
in
not
whatever
like to
bath-
spread out.
So in
I do
this
take up a lot
bath,
of space.
you did see that there are two bathtubs in there, so multiple people can bathe at the same time, and it is accessible to you. So
I feel like it's the 50s, where they're like, well, tonight's gonna be spicy. Maybe we'll push the twin beds together.
Let's just push those big baths together, okay? Sweetie pies, honey buns.
so speaking of, what is the word of the week?
Well, I think now it's
Gonna
definitely
be
bath.
Bathtub,
It's gonna be bath.
Tubby time?
tubby time.
That's not a word. That's a phrase.
How about
Is now. It is now.
I would write it all as one word. Tubby time.
Yeah, tubby time.
I agree.
It's tubby time.
Oh,
All right, the
Our-
word of the
our-
week.
Ark didn't bring his rubber ducky.
Well,
So-
rubber ducky, that's a key one.
So what's today's secret word, cocky?
From Dragons.
Today's secret word is
worms in the bath.
tubby time.
If we didn't have kids sleeping here, I would buy an air horn and blow it every time we did the word of the week.
Yay! So any locals who are watching on Thursday, I will also somehow throw in the word Tubby Time. You just go over into our horror campaign. You go over to the Armory or Tabletop Games and enter to win the weekly raffle by writing in Tubby Time. It's the word of the week.
What a weird word. What a weird word to write.
Remember, all one word.
All one word, Tubby Time. Right on the paper that you slip into the NAT30s jar. I will definitely be letting the owners of those two establishments know that the word of the week is Tubby Time.
Yeah, because they're gonna go through and go, the fuck?
And every time we say it, we have to say, yay!
Can you when you do like do the exclamation point and word of the week or whatever, can you just insert a little picture of Kermit flailing his arms?
It's a Muppet.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can put pictures in.
Well, you do it with
I know those are
with
specific
the Monty
alerts,
Python
though.
things.
Yeah, those are alerts for like a thing happening. I can look into it. I'll see.
Can you make an alert for the word of the week so that it's Kermit flailing his arms?
No, there are specific alerts, but
Okay.
I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do. Okay, so we are gonna raid. Thank you to everybody who hung out for the. Hey, Grem, thank you so much for redeeming that bum. Though it's been a while.
Hey guys, we didn't fight. We didn't. That did not go at all the way I was expecting it to go.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I thought we were either going to have to talk our way out of it, which I was not optimistic, but hopeful, I guess. And we didn't have to kill anyone. So.
And there would have been a lot of killing. There's a lot
You're
of
not
balls.
murder hobos.
There would have been a lot of dying on our end. Like,
Well, I don't know if Lauren is watching, but I hope that she does watch it because there was a lot of information, and I don't know if you guys took notes.
It looked
so
like
hopefully
most
she
of them
will.
were taking notes, which
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Kai
really bad.
was taking notes.
It's really bad because like I'm using a piece of paper with as a mouse pad that's scribbled with notes. I have 3 notebooks literally. Like I don't stick to one. It's just like a page in one, 3 pages in another, and it like makes no sense. Like anybody who came and would think that I was like Timothy McVeigh or something like that, like the Unabomber, because it just looks like the scrawlings of a madman.
that's why I don't take notes. I let Abaddon. I know Pat's been taking them since the beginning, so it's like I know like Abaddon's detailed, and then if she's not there, I know that Zan. Why am I saying Pat and Abaddon with Lauren?
Yeah, you gotta take some notes. You gotta take some notes.
Like,
It doesn't have to be good notes. It just has to be
For
some.
reason we can't hear you, Pat. I don't know why.
I've somehow lost the first few months of notes. I don't
Cool.
know where they went. I only kept them in my bag, and now
Not so
they're
much
not
roll
in
to
my
one.
bag.
But we will be back on Thursday. We are running a one-shot with actually Fires of Atheline, Ark Survivor, and then Vidania's other half, Chris, and Abaddon's other half, Kevin. So that is going to be happening for the month of October, most likely. We'll see how long it goes. It might only be a few sessions, but definitely just awesome. Looking forward to introducing Chris and Kevin to the game, where we have 2 other veterans playing Ark Survivor and Fires of Atheline. That should be fun horror campaign for the month of October, for at least 3 weeks or so on Thursdays, and then we'll be back on Saturday. And again, like I said, I'll make sure to be throwing Tubby Time out there. So we are going to raid Gehenna Gaming. Actually, it's been a little while since we raided them. They are doing one-shots tonight, so we'll just go ahead and raid them. So use your raid dicey raider emote, and thank you for watching, and we will see you Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night,
see
everyone.
you guys later. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out.
Good night, everybody. I gotta go to bed.
Good night.
See you.